Stephanie Smothers is a young mom blogger. She tells her followers that her friend Emily has been missing for 5 days. Stephanie takes it very hard and can't stop crying. To explain things, she tells her followers how she first met Emily. That day, there was a kids' event at the school where Stephanie's son Miles goes. Stephanie is very active and joins in all the activities. Other parents are always surprised by how energetic she is. In the same class is Nikki, the son of the stunning blonde Emily Nelson. Stephanie knew right away that Emily was different. Because their kids wanted to play together, the two women got to know each other. When Emily asked Stephanie to come over for a drink, she said yes. Emily lives in a large, luxurious house. She said she once posed for an artist to pay for college, but that wild life is now behind her. Unlike the confident Emily, Stephanie feels a bit awkward. While Emily poured drinks, she talked about her husband Sean, who wrote a book and became famous 10 years ago. Since then, he hasn't written anything. Stephanie is a widow. Her husband died in a car accident. Her brother was in the same car, so she lost the two people she loved most. Now, as a single mother, Stephanie has no plans to start a new relationship. She lives simply, but does everything for her son. Sean, Emily's husband, came home. The couple kissed, not shy at all in front of Stephanie. They looked like the perfect pair. Stephanie continues to run her blog for young mums. Soon she met Emily again. When Stephanie took her photo, Emily firmly asked her to delete the picture. Then Emily suggested they have another drink together. Stephanie brought a small gift for her, a homemade bracelet. Emily was very touched. No one had ever made something like that for her. The women got drunk and opened up to each other. Stephanie shared that her father died when she was in high school. A guy named Chris came to the funeral, and he looked exactly like her father when he was young. Stephanie's mother acted like she had seen a ghost. It turned out Chris was her father's son from another woman. The two talked for a long time. Stephanie was heartbroken over losing her father, the only person who truly understood her. In time, a strong passion grew between her and Chris. Stephanie still feels guilty about it today. Hearing this, Emily was shocked. She found herself liking Stephanie more and more. Emily invited her new friend to stay for dinner. The next morning, Stephanie got a call from Emily, who asked her for a simple favor. Of course, Stephanie agreed to pick up Nikki from school. Emily, who had a lot of work to finish, thanked her for the help. As promised, Stephanie picked up the boys from school. They had a great time together, but it was getting late, and Emily wasn't answering messages or calls. Stephanie began to worry. 2 days passed, and Emily still didn't come back. Stephanie called her office. The secretary said Emily had suddenly flown to Miami for something urgent. It turned out Sean, who was in some program, also had no idea where his wife was. He said he would fly in the next day and pick up Nikki. As promised, Sean came to pick up his son. Neither the secretary nor Sean could reach Emily. Sean suggested they call the police. For the past 3 days, he had been in London with his sick mother. The officers asked if there had been any problems between the spouses. Stephanie said that she and Sean had an ideal marriage. The police took their statements and said they would start an investigation. When the officers left, Sean told Stephanie that his wife was a mystery. She hated being photographed and was like a beautiful ghost. Since it was late, Stephanie offered Sean a place to stay for the night. The next morning, she was surprised when Sean made breakfast. He seemed like a good father. Stephanie told her blog followers about her friend who had been missing for 4 days. Her husband had a strong alibi, so he was removed from the list of suspects. Stephanie decided to start her own investigation and went to the office where Emily worked. She couldn't get any information from the receptionist, so she asked to meet Emily's boss, Dennis Nyland. But Dennis, a top fashion designer, clearly didn't want to talk. Emily worked in the PR department and often made decisions on her own without checking with management. Still determined, Stephanie secretly slipped into Emily's office to look for clues. She found a photo of Emily with the words, "Gotta have faith." Stephanie took the envelope but couldn't get out without being seen. Dennis blocked her path. Remembering Emily's advice, Stephanie began acting confident and warned Dennis that if he didn't let her leave right now, she would ruin his reputation. To her surprise, it worked. Now Stephanie had a photo of Emily. She handed out flyers to people on the street and did everything she could to support Sean. Other parents were sure Stephanie just wanted to steal Emily's husband. Stephanie stayed at Sean's house to make lunch. This was new for Sean because his wife never cooked. The detective came by and found it strange that the missing woman's friend was spending time with her husband. The detective also said that Emily wasn't on the passenger list for the Miami flight, but she had rented a car and paid in cash. The officer thought Emily might have a lover, but Sean didn't believe it. Stephanie overheard their conversation. As she was about to leave, Sean took her hand and thanked her for everything she had done. Stephanie asked her followers to help look for Emily, sharing special details about the missing woman. Soon, one follower said she might have seen Emily in Michigan. Stephanie told the police right away. Shortly after, the police called Sean and said Emily's car had been found in a lake. Her body was also discovered there. Stephanie had to share the sad news with her followers. When Sean saw his wife's lifeless body, he couldn't hold back his emotions. The funeral took place soon after. Stephanie helped organize the memorial and offered Sean her sincere support. Nikki and Miles got into a fight. Nikki blamed Stephanie for everything, thinking she wanted to take his mother's place. Stephanie took charge and talked to Nikki, then put him to bed. Sean was depressed and didn't know how to move forward. Stephanie hugged him to comfort him. At some point, he kissed her, and passion grew between them. The next morning, Stephanie felt torn inside. She went into Emily's huge wardrobe and tried on one of her dresses. Just then, the doorbell rang. The zipper got stuck, and she couldn't take the dress off. At the door was the detective who wanted to talk to her about Emily. According to the autopsy report, Emily had been using alcohol and drugs. Stephanie was shocked. The detective also noticed that she was wearing an expensive dress. He then mentioned that the day before Emily disappeared, her husband took out a $4 million insurance policy on her. Stephanie didn't know how to respond and told the detective to look into Emily's boss. But it turned out Dennis Nyland had already contacted the police and reported Stephanie's strange behavior. Stephanie is now even more determined to continue her own investigation and find the truth. Soon she saw Sean hugging a girl in town. Maybe Sean wasn't as good as she thought. During dinner, she asked him some careful questions. Then Nikki suddenly said he saw his mother that day. She asked him to say hello to Stephanie. Miles confirmed it too. Later, on the nightstand by the bed, Stephanie found the same bracelet she had given Emily. She told Sean about her suspicions. Stephanie believed Emily was still alive. Sean said it was impossible because they had seen her body with their own eyes. He also said that Emily was not the person Stephanie thought she was. According to him, some time ago, Emily stole his mother's family ring and kept it for herself. Stephanie was stunned because Emily had told her that Sean's mother had given her the ring. When Sean asked Stephanie to move in with him, she questioned why he had taken out an insurance policy on his wife. Sean explained that it was Emily's idea. He also said his wife was a pathological liar. Sean and Stephanie confessed their love for each other. Soon, Stephanie moved in with him and started going through some of Emily's things. After that, she put her own house up for sale. Stephanie believed she was finally going to start a new, happy life. But when she went into the dressing room again, all of Emily's things were exactly where they had been. Stephanie was really shaken and shared the incident on her blog. She didn't want to replace Emily. She only wanted to make Sean and Nikki happy. One day, Nikki gave Stephanie an envelope from his mom. Inside was a photo of Stephanie's brother, something only Emily knew about. Suddenly, the phone rang. Stephanie heard Emily's voice saying she was watching her right now. Stephanie immediately went to Sean and directly asked what game he and Emily were playing. Sean looked confused and didn't understand what she meant. Their conversation was interrupted by Beth, Sean's student. Stephanie had seen Sean and Beth hugging before. After Beth left, Sean reassured Stephanie that Emily was really gone. Stephanie no longer knew what was real and what was not. At home, she remembered how she had once shared her secret with Emily. She had told Emily how her husband began to suspect that Chris was her lover. Davis also doubted that Miles was his child. Stephanie had tried to stop her brother and husband from going out for a private talk. It was on that day that the accident happened. Stephanie blamed herself. It seemed Emily was the only person who truly understood her and didn't judge her. In the present, Stephanie found the artist Diana Hyland, for whom Emily had posed. But Diana said the girl's real name wasn't Emily. It was Claudia. She was a model and Diana's muse. Thanks to Emily, Diana's paintings became successful. Diana was so charmed by Emily that she even paid for her college, but Emily turned out to be a common swindler. After getting the money, she disappeared, ruining Diana's career. Before Stephanie left, Diana gave her Emily's t-shirt with a summer camp emblem. Stephanie left a voicemail for Sean saying she needed a few days alone to process her grief. She left the boys with a family friend. Stephanie then went to a children's camp in Michigan. There, she discovered Emily and another girl who looked exactly like her. Their names were Hope and Faith McClandon. Stephanie started looking into her friend's mysterious past, which led her to the McClandon Foundation. She went there disguised as a cleaner. Apparently, Mr. and Mrs. McClandon were very religious. They had 2 daughters, which confirmed to Stephanie that Emily had a twin sister. Casually, she asked Mrs. McClandon about her daughters. The woman revealed that Faith had mental health problems, and Hope had tried to help her sister but hadn't succeeded. Seeing Emily's photograph, Margaret McClandon recognized her as her daughter Faith. She mentioned a fire, but Stephanie didn't have time to ask more because Bruce, the woman's unfriendly husband, came back. Stephanie left quickly using a flimsy excuse and later went to the archives to study all the records about the arsons. She later shared some of the findings on her blog. When Emily saw this, she was furious. She hadn't expected Stephanie to dig into her past. Stephanie even hinted in her video that she knew about Emily's twin sister. Stephanie now had no doubt that the couple had orchestrated everything for insurance money. She also learned that Hope and Faith disappeared without a trace after the fire. The supposedly dead wife had actually met with Sean. He had no idea about her evil plan. Emily confessed that she hated her job and had faked her death to collect the insurance. She showed her husband a gun, making it clear he had to cooperate. Sean agreed because he knew she was dangerous. If he had refused, he would have paid with his life. At home, Sean was greeted by Stephanie and an insurance agent. Stephanie explained that the body found in the lake might not be Emily's, but her twin sister's. If that turned out to be true, Sean would not receive the insurance money. Later, Stephanie and Emily met at her grave and shared a glass of martini. Stephanie made it clear that she knew the whole truth about her friend. Hope and Faith's father had been very strict. When the sisters were 16, they started a fire that took the life of their father. Emily revealed that after their escape, they drew too much attention. Because people wanted to photograph the beautiful twins, that's why they hate being photographed so much. In the end, the sisters decided to go their separate ways. Hope fled to Mexico while Faith stayed in New York. Her life improved, but 14 years later, her sister found her. They agreed to meet at the cabin in the camp where they used to hide from their father. People at work thought Emily was on a business trip to Miami. Unlike Faith, Hope lived an immoral lifestyle. She planned to blackmail Emily by threatening to tell the police about their past. Emily couldn't allow that because of her son. Hope suggested they go for a swim in the lake. Emily agreed, and in that moment she unalives her sister. There was no turning back, so Emily put the ring on Faith's finger and faked her own death. She convinced Stephanie that it had been Sean's idea, but Stephanie uncovered their plan to collect the insurance. Now all Emily wants is to take her son. At night, following Emily's plan, Stephanie hacked Sean's laptop and planted some incriminating papers in his car. The next morning, Sean found police everywhere, at his office and at his house. The detective asked him why he hadn't told them that his wife was alive. Sean refused to discuss it without a lawyer. Stephanie also refused to let Sean into her house, calling him a crook. Sean immediately realized that Emily was manipulating Stephanie. While Sean tried to contact Stephanie, Emily left the motel where she had been staying and injured herself. Later, she went to the police station and gave the detective her version of events. Thanks to Stephanie's blog, which had become very popular, the whole country learned about the story. Sean was arrested, accused of forcing his wife to fake her disappearance for insurance money. He was later released on bail pending trial, while Emily returned home as if nothing had happened. She was very pleased with herself, having pulled off the perfect crime, with a little help from Stephanie. Meanwhile, Stephanie, speaking to her followers, went to the couple's house and pointed a gun at Sean. She was angry that both Sean and Emily had been taking advantage of her. Sean again insisted that he had no idea about his wife's plan, but Stephanie pulled the trigger. Frightened, Emily confessed that she had took the life of her sister. It turned out that Stephanie and Sean had staged the whole scene to get Emily to admit the truth. However, Emily had anticipated this and had already disabled the listening device. Now the gun was in Emily's hands. When she shot Sean, Stephanie realized Emily wasn't joking, but what Emily didn't know was that Stephanie had a hidden video camera in her blouse button. She was live streaming the whole thing to her followers. Emily tried to run, but she was hit by a car. The police arrived and arrested her. 6 months later, Stephanie's blog has gained 1 million followers, while Emily is serving her prison sentence. Thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. See you in a bit.